Hello everyone, I am Tacit and welcome to the Gems of War Campaign 4 Week 8 Day 4 live stream. So today, of course, we just had the Q&A live stream last night. And for any of you who did not catch it, we are going to be going over pretty much most of the stream because there's quite a few things to go over. Other than that, we'll be messing with the Knight Hero class, getting that done, and whatever other loose ends we need to get done before the new faction comes out this Friday. We got a new faction in 6 hours and 52 minutes. And I will be streaming that around noon or so tomorrow. And go for a couple hours doing normal things and go from there. That is the game plan. But anyways, yeah, I've been feeling kind of off from this shot the other day. I could barely like move my left arm. I've just been feeling like very fatigued. But overall, not too bad. No flu-like symptoms or anything like that. So that's good. And hopefully it'll be better soon. I wanted to rest off today, so it'd hopefully be better for tomorrow. And it kind of seems like it. I just got done with like a 5-6 hour nap. Still feels a little off, but definitely better than before, that's for sure. Anyways, so yeah, we got a lot to go over. I might as well bring it up on screen. I was going to read it on the other screen. However, it would make sense if I'm reading it as you guys can also see it. Let's see. There's a lot to go over, that's for sure. And luckily someone did compile the entire thing, which will make this so much easier to go over, that is for sure, compared to keeping track of every individual thing ourselves. Should be right over here. And it should be somewhere in all this mess. Oh, there was our question. It did get asked. The answer was... Actually, wow, why can I not remember the answer? Because this was asked. They're definitely going to be doing something about it. I can't remember what their response was, though. That's pretty bad. They talked about so many things, it's kind of hard to keep track of all of them. But anyways, let's start from the top. Thanks to Larian for compiling everything. But yeah, every single thing that was basically answered is all laid out right here. So let's get to reading. But before I do, let's say hello to everyone. Hello. Let me make it bigger so I can see. Let's see. Hello, Nasia. Hello, Bill. Hello, Barbara. Hello, Daddy Shark. Hello, Churros. Hello, Interception. Hello, Cookie. Hello, Bill Warhammer. Hello, U7. Hello, Grudo. Hello, Captain. Hello, Chris Border. Hello, Lestat. Hello, everyone else. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so first things first. What's coming in the 5.5 updates, which is, of course, next patch, which, of course, is in the next upcoming weeks. Could be as early as next week, though it's likely 2 or 3 weeks from now. Very likely to be, like, right around the campaign switch, so around there. Heroic gems are being added to the game. They are a way to shake up traditional core gameplay. Heroic gems can be turned on or off by devs for special events. So basically, these are gems that will have special effects that'll either occur during an entire Ward lore event or in some couple situations, and things will be able to create it. Like, for example, we looked at some troops earlier the other month, and we were like, oh, lycanthropy gems, what are those? It probably does lycanthropy or something. However, that was one of those power gems. A lycanthropy gem, which is probably the main gem we're getting next season as well, given the whole lycanthropy mechanic. But basically, if you played Puzzle Quest 3, you actually know exactly what these are. They actually ended up implementing this into the entirety of the Puzzle Quest 3 series now. They're basically the ultimate meter for every single one of the characters. There's 5 of them, so there's 5 power gems in that game, though they might add more over time. But that's basically what they're doing to Gems of War now, except they'll only occur during special events, and they'll, of course, be attached to troops, which the troops will carry over. So let's say they add 5 troops that have a lycanthropy gem effect. There will permanently be 5 troops that now have a lycanthropy gem creation capability. So be interesting to see how that pans out, especially if at least one of them becomes viable for every single power gem. It could end up making the power gems actually useful beyond the events. But aside from that, even during these events, they'll be able to occur at a very rare pacing. I believe they specifically said that these will occur on purple, the lycanthropy gems. So there'll be like a 1 in 30, 1 in 40 chance whenever a purple gem falls onto the board. That'll be a lycanthropy gem, which I assume when matched will end up creating a lycanthropy effect on one of the enemies, or who knows, maybe it just immediately transforms them into a beast. So given that's called a lycanthropy gem, I'm pretty sure it just applies the effect. So overall, pretty lackluster gem. But they definitely have plenty of others planned, that is for sure. Some of them seeming pretty powerful as far as what they could do. As well as one of them that they mentioned seeming exactly like the Shaman ability on Puzzle Quest 3, where you basically create another gem when you match the gem, or even multiple, like how the Assassin one works. But it'd be interesting to see how it works. Anyways, they also said they'll probably add the wild cards from the Puzzle Quest 1 series. Or wasn't it in Puzzle Quest 2 too? It's definitely not Puzzle Quest 3. But I believe 1 and possibly 2 had it as well. But anyways, what else I did not mention here? I kind of summarized all this, but I might as well read through anything I might have missed. New troops will use these heroic gems. I kind of mentioned that. And those will be permanent, so they'll constantly have it. The themes will differ between campaign to campaign, so every single campaign could potentially bring in a new power gem, which would be interesting to see how that looks by the end of next year, because that means, like, what, 5 new power gems or so, somewhere around there? So definitely going to be quite a big handful of them, that's for sure. Any troops, or lycanthropy gems and troops will use, creates them, will be featured in Campaign 5. We already mentioned that. Lycanthropy gems will be purple gem replacements. We know that. Though about 1 in 30, 1 in 40 or so. Oh, actually, this one says 1 in 20. Okay, maybe it's lower than that. I could have sworn they said like around 1 in 30. Future campaign, heroic gems mentioned. Mana potion gems, Campaign 6, gem generation. And wildcard gems, which is mentioning from Puzzle Quest 1 and 2. Heroic gems are a concept that has long been something the devs have been planning to do, but never got around to it, that they're finally doing next patch. Let's see, Uber Doom Skulls. These are Doom Skulls that will do 10 damage and create a larger explosion, kind of like that 5x5, I would assume. Or, you know, the big 3x3, whatever it's called. Well, actually, yeah, that would be a 5x5. But, you know, those really big explosions that Obsidious and stuff like that have. That will be brought in as a standard mechanic whenever they do roll around. Why aren't there a lot of new features in version 5.4? Mostly because they were doing a bunch of coding stuff for PlayStation and such. Let's keep going. What's the current progress on Guild War scoring issue? So there's some kind of weird scoring issue. If you're in a smaller guild, this is pretty irrelevant. So we'll just skip past that. But basically, they're looking to fix it. However, there's something with the servers that prevent them from doing so. So just be patient. Is there anything coming in the future you wish to discuss? We're going to be getting a new gnome patch in 5.6, but honestly seems like it's going to be the bigger patch. New gnome types. And we're probably even going to get a gnome kingdom, which isn't mentioned here. But new gnome music as well. They're going to be adding a completely new track for this kind of like side thingy. Treasure Hunt map. Treasure Hunt rework. I mean, I like tried saying revamp and then rework at the same time. But yeah, the Treasure Hunt revamp is definitely coming around the corner. It's not a next patch though, but it is definitely coming soon. TM. But yeah, the vault was originally planned to be a kingdom with a banner and all that, and it will become one likely very soon. As far as specific pet hunting, they're still thinking of how to improve specific pet hunting in the future, so it might be tied to certain events. So we don't currently know. That's probably why I didn't know the answer. I don't think they gave a straight answer as to how they're fixing the pets, but they're definitely going to be doing something for it. And as far as full-day pet rescues, pet gnomes cannot spawn during the 24-hour events because of limitations that they have, which we kind of already knew. So they will not be doing multiple spawns during those times. Whenever there's a 24-hour event, you still won't be able to get any other pets other than the 24-hour one. Is there any area of the game you'd like to focus on in the future updates? What's the rumor we've heard about kingdoms? Yeah, they mentioned kingdoms on a Monday stream and then never really followed up until now. But yeah, they want to release classes for all the ones that are missing. Of course, there's War Gear, Elemental, Construct. Is that all of them? Could have sworn there was slightly more than that. Unless you want to add a gnome one as well, though they'll probably be attached to the gnome thingy. PvP Guild Wars. Still going to get reworked. PvP has been meaning to get a rework for like 3-4 years now. It would be about time. It'd be interesting to see what a Guild Wars reworks looks like. Still could use a lot of rework too. Though, I feel like people would react more to the Guild War rework as far as if it's good or not. Because that's a pretty try-hard area of the game. Whereas PvP is still played quite a bit, but it's definitely a lot more towards the casual side of just grinding a bunch. Obviously, Treasure Hunt. And, oh yeah, we already kind of knew this. Treasure Hunt gets hacked a lot in this game. We've actually seen it before, like around 4 or 5 years ago. Like live footage of a hacker actually doing it, because it's kind of funny because they didn't realize the Steam thingy was on. So we were able to watch it. We actually have footage of on this channel too of like actual hackers, because a lot of people on Steam, when that new feature came out on Steam ages ago, where you could see people playing in game, like you could, you know, have like basically a mini stream of your game as you're playing on Steam. A lot of people didn't realize that was like auto turned on, so we could basically watch a bunch of hackers hacking the game, or you know, the actual gameplay of it. So we've actually been able to see it. But yeah, you can get like absurd loot from hacking Treasure Hunt, though we'll get your account banned obviously. But yeah, they have a lot of issue with Treasure Hunt hacking, which has made them a little hesitant to really do too much to Treasure Hunt, or at least make it more favorable to the player, because that's something that's still an issue that they have cracked down on, but still haven't been able to fully fix out. Will we see any more Kingdom reworks? Yes. We're definitely planning on reworking some of the weaker ones. I wish they would do so at a quicker rate, as well as rebalancing the entire game. But small steps, we'll get there. What's happening with the fixes to Doom weapons? They will be fixing that one really annoying perk on 2 of them. And they did ask for feedback on additional ones if you want to go post on the forum. I believe there are several. Can't recall the full list off the top of my head. Also, Mang's one of those really weird ones that I hope they fix. Which that's the first one that comes to mind. Because currently Mang is worse being upgraded than not upgraded. So I keep it personally at a level 5 and don't bother getting it maxed. However, even if they did fix it, it would still be worse at level 9. Actually, technically, a lot of weapons are actually worse at level 9. The reason for this is if they don't have any board control attached to the weapon, they have a very small extra delay due to all the additional effects that they have on the weapon. So you're going to be wasting about an extra 0.5 seconds every time you cast a weapon if you have it upgraded beyond level 5, assuming it does not create any gems. So that's been an issue always, just because if it does additional things, it's obviously going to take additional time. So it's going to be kind of weird, because there's so many weapons that are like that are actually technically more beneficial to never have maxed. But I'm not sure how they're going to go around really fixing that, because there really isn't a way to fix that in a sense. So I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But anyways, what's going to happen when the underworld fills up? New kingdoms, finally. No exact time as far as when they're coming, but yes, we are finally going to be getting new kingdoms. Obviously, the underworld was the initial way to kind of do that, but they will be adding more. Currently considering extending the map to have more space. Heroic gems are a way to add variety to the new factions as well, which they might be adding to new factions instead of just new campaigns. And the devs are interested in investigating ways to buy potions outside of faction events. So someone ended up asking this near the end of that, where if we could get potion effects for clearing out factions. This, of course, is used for if you were to go to a specific faction. And let's say you wanted to go do the pure faction for it to go get the plus 500, or, you know, the full amount of points. There's currently no way, even if you're all the way at 500, to use potion effects in this particular one. Whenever there's an event that rolls around, there is. However, there's no way to do it specifically for this. So I'm curious to see how exactly they're going to implement that, if they even implement it at all. Because it'll allow you to save a lot of gems when it comes to upgrading a kingdom or upgrading a faction to max. Because if you manually go to 500... and then just got the potions, it would probably cost you less than 1,000, though we don't currently know what the pricing will be whenever it does end up happening. But it will likely cost you around 1,000 or so, maybe a little bit less. Whereas currently, if you wanted to do the same thing, it costs a little bit closer to 2,000 or even a little bit more than 2,000. So it'll almost be half price depending on how they balance it. It really just depends. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out, as it might become cheaper to actually start maxing kingdoms if they ended up allowing you to do potions specifically outside of those events, because currently you have to not only wait for the event but then also throw down a couple thousand gems when the event rolls around. And the big issue with that is when it's a Tuesday event, it's going to be kind of annoying because you only have one single day for it. However, you could do it at any time in the week, or it still might be limited to one day, but at least you'd be able to do it on any day you want instead of having to do it on specifically Tuesday, which of course quite a few people might be busy on, at least for part of the day. But anyways, will we get more deed books? Yes. But yeah, they'll be adding it to more stuff, basically. But we will indeed be getting more. They just need to figure out what they want to add it to, and obviously not make it too overpowered to get them. Currently, it's definitely underdone. They did mention as well at some point in the stream, not sure if it's mentioned here, that they, generally when they do new currencies, they do it a little bit lesser, and then they buff it up later. And it's definitely an instance with the deed books, that's for sure. Can we get more Tower of Doom events? Short answer, yes. Tower of Doom will eventually be a weekend event. It was actually supposed to be months ago, but they never ended up getting into the patch. It was supposed to be that way before campaigns even came into the game, where they were going to do it not only between the events, but also like literally midway through. So that about every 5 weeks we'd have a Tower of Doom, one weekend one, and then 1 week-long one. It looks like they're still trying to do that. Exactly when, who knows, because it doesn't seem like it's coming in 5.5. But yeah, that was something that was talked about before campaigns even happened, but they have yet to implement it into the game. So they're definitely planning on still doing it, just still not in the game, not even next patch. It's still not in the game. But Tower still planned to be a week-long event between campaigns, but it will also be the actually only event that will be a week-long one and a weekend one. Not simultaneously, obviously, but you know, it'd be possible to be both. which will be the only one currently within the game that will have that kind of property to it. Devs are open to considering not running Tower of Dooms during Guild War weeks, which would be very convenient because Tower of Doom weekend event would be probably the most consuming weekend event out of any of them. I can't think of a single one that would take more time than Tower of Doom weekend. It's because the amount of communication you need with your guild, alongside the fact that it's a pretty long event, given that you have to do absolutely all of it in order to maximize the amount of scrolls. Likely it'll be a little bit shorter, like you only need to go to floor 10 or 15 or something like that in order to get max loot, but you're still going to have to do quite a bit compared to a normal weekend event. Well, I guess technically factions take longer whenever a new faction comes out, like tomorrow. But as far as guild-related ones, it's definitely the longest guild-related event as far as time that you have to input into it to get max loot. Anyways, let's see. Devs are considering a non-flash offer alternative as well to get them. It's been something mentioned for years and still has not been done, but hopefully they do at some point. Devs are looking at creating new collaboration events with guilds, for Tower of Doom. Like, for example, events that require communication with your guild. So currently, as far as events are considered, theoretically, there's only one that requires communication. I guess technically Guild Wars, if you want to mention like teams and stuff to your guild and stuff like that. However, the main one, of course, that has synergy with that is Tower of Doom, where you have to report on which rooms are good, which rooms are bad. Well, you don't really report the ones that are bad, but you report which ones are good, all that stuff, and kind of help your guild so you don't waste as many sigils across the entire guild. There will be events in the future that will likely utilize this kind of feature as well, where it'll require a lot of communication with your guild in order to do the event, which makes sense. That does make guild events a little bit better in the sense that it actually requires you to communicate and play as a guild, whereas most of the other events like raids, invasion, stuff like that, you kind of just do your own thing. It's kind of like Bounty Hunter, except the score counts for your entire guild instead of just yourself. Like, you don't really need communication with your guild and stuff like that to actually participate in it. So it'll be cool to see more of those. Someone else also asked if they'll be adding ways to track it in-game. They didn't really give anything direct for that, but it could happen. Oh yeah, they were also mentioning that they might make a web browser thingy so that there's a way to click in-game to get to all the ways for the World Lore event. So currently there's no way to check the World Lore event stuff. However, in the game itself, we normally go over it Sunday nights because, well, there is absolutely none, and we normally go over it on Monday videos as well. But they're planning on adding some kind of in-game alternative or something for it to kind of, before they have like a really proper feature to kind of mention it in-game, but they are looking into it. But anyways, let's see. Do you ever run out of troop ideas? No. They already have 1,000+ troops, which is kind of funny because they didn't even realize that there's not 1,000 troops in the game because the dev build already has more than 1,000. I actually asked that question. I'm pretty sure it's mentioned somewhere down here. But I asked them if they have anything special planned for the 1,000th troop. And the answer was surprisingly no. But yeah, we are currently 48 troops away. Technically less than that. Or sorry, 42 troops. Technically 38. Because we're getting 4 troops tomorrow, of course. Because we're getting a new faction. And each faction brings in 4 troops. So we're right around the corner. Only 38 technically to go. Because the 4 that are coming in tomorrow. So we're getting very, very close to the 1,000th mark. And they don't have anything planned for it. So we'll see what happens. But as it currently stands, there are no plans to do anything special for when the 1,000th troop comes into the game. Let's see. Anyways, open QA questions. Oh, this was already the point where we got into open questions? I feel like there were some things not mentioned here. I could have sworn I heard other things. Oh, so there were some Puzzle Quest 3 questions. Though he misunderstood one of the questions. Anyways, war coins. Actually, when I said that Adventure Board would eventually have war coins? And then I thought, oh, maybe they just removed it from the game. And it was just Salty talking about something and they didn't actually do it. Because that happens a lot where Salty mentions something and then it doesn't actually get implemented in the game or something similar. But one thing that was mentioned was, of course, war coins. And they were supposed to be on Adventure Board. And apparently they are. They just haven't happened yet. And we've just gotten extremely unlucky. But it's kind of completely random what ends up happening there. The only thing they ever have control over if they do like a holiday event thingy. That one, of course, they have control over what it is and all that. However, all the other ones, the ones that occur daily, kind of just automatically happen on their own. So they don't actually have any control over what specifically ends up going there. I'm pretty sure they could manually adjust it, though. Because I know they have for SoulForge and stuff like that. But it is completely random what happens there every single week. We don't normally know until Monday. The devs don't know until it actually happens as well. So, yeah, we just happen to not get war coins. It's currently only a legendary task and just happened to not roll around a single time since war coins have existed. Though a lot of people were requesting for more ways to get war coins. I feel like that's kind of a bad idea overall. Mostly because, obviously, it's kind of unfortunate for the people that don't have all the war coins yet. However, war coins, at least in the current state of the game and likely how it's going to be staying, are very bad value after you have your first 250. They're basically just a few trait stones and stuff like that. Maybe like a really small amount of souls. So having a way to get more war coins isn't necessarily a good thing. Because if we're not going to be getting too many more war bands, then yeah, it's not really going to help much. Though they did end up mentioning 2 more war bands are being planned for 5.6. Maybe 10 to 15 planned out in the long term. I don't recall them actually mentioning this, but it is going to be nice. But we don't currently know exactly when all of them will be coming out. Like, they might say 5.6, but they say it a lot of times, and stuff doesn't come in until way later. So, yeah, still keep collecting those war coins. But we will eventually hit a wall where they're just going to probably stop adding more war bands, and at that point, there's just no point to them. Because once all you have left is just to rebuy the 15 thingy with war coins, it just has ridiculously bad value. Obviously, the only thing that is useful about the war coins is that you can get a banner out of them, and an extra team slot. But those are the only 2 useful aspects. Everything else that you get and the repeating of it, once you've already gotten each of them once, is very exceedingly bad value. Or at least later in the game anyways. Earlier on in the game, it's not horrifically bad. But later in the game, it definitely is. Revamping the old GUI. We're considering it. However, they haven't really given us anything too confirmational on it. But hopefully it'll end up making some tweaks to it overall. Epic Vault keys will be available increased. They actually ended up giving us a Vault key as well from the thingy, which was really funny. I meant to not claim it, but I accidentally quick claimed all at some point today. But if I go check it, there it is, an Epic Vault key. See, they increased the rate of Epic Vault key. But yeah, I think I had 300 claims. Well, like 300 people got an Epic Vault key last night during their Q&A stream. It was actually the biggest redeem code they have ever handed out in the history of forever. So, yeah, we got pretty lucky. They literally handed out an Epic Vault key last night. But no, they're going to be adding more ways to actually legitimately get Epic Vault keys, other than getting ridiculously lucky right there. But, yeah, but it's still going to maintain a really hard-to-obtain resource. So you're still pretty much going to have to grind for it out in Vault events. But there will be other, like, gnome-related events that will likely still have, like the 5.6 thing, will likely still have the Epic Vault key chance. So you'll still be able to get them through those means, if nothing else. But, yeah, they are likely still keeping it very rare. But at least the other gnome event is very likely to also include it. So as long as you're farming normal stuff, like whenever Vault event comes around and whenever these new gnome event comes around, you should be able to hopefully have at least a decent chance, since the new gnome event is very likely to include it as well as a drop. Anyways, heroic gems in Guild Wars, yes, the troops that use it will end up having it. However, they were considering turning it off for the heroic gems that happen during campaigns. So, for example, the natural ones that occur during campaign, they might turn it off for Guild Wars. However, the troops that specifically have one of those effects will always have it. So let's say there's a troop that does like damage to all enemies and then creates 5 of some kind of power gem. That will always be able to create that power gem within Guild Wars. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that pan out, if any of them actually do become viable. Because that will allow that power gem to always be able to be used in Guild Wars, assuming the color corresponds to it. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that pans out. However, the ones that occur, that could just randomly occur, are likely to be disabled. Though no confirmation, they still mentioned that some of them might still have it. But some of the more overpowered ones for Guild Wars might be disabled for the Guild Wars. But the troops that still have it will be able to do that effect still. Anyways, new boss troops coming? Yes, via campaign. So we're probably getting one maybe next season. We're kind of due for one very soon. We've gone quite a while. Of course, the only new one we've gotten since Zugoff is Enraged Karendera. So that means we've gotten 0 because Enraged Karendera does not exist. It is so bad. But yeah, hopefully we get a Doom Troop that actually feels like a Doom Troop next. Other ways to farm Explorer tokens. Oh yeah, I ended up asking this one. They said no. But yeah, they said they will likely, actually, it's more than just no. They did mention they will likely add more ways to obtain them passively. Like, for example, maybe they'll be attached to some kind of new event and stuff like that, where you'll be able to get a few. However, the main farming location for getting tokens are likely to remain Explorer 12. So this is a little bit unfortunate because, you know, Explorer 12 gets a little bit repetitive if that's the absolute only way where you can infinitely farm tokens. Though they are planning on adding more passive ways of gaining tokens, if nothing else. However, that doesn't fix the fact that you'll still have to just sit in Explorer 12 over and over again, to actually farm tokens effectively. But at least being able to have more ways to get them passive is still welcome, if nothing else. Anyways, campaign pets after campaign ends. Yes, this is something that's currently an issue. Currently, no campaign pet that has ever existed has been available since its release. It has only ever been available for money. However, they did finally confirm that at some point they will be adding some kind of way to gain them, possibly a Saturday pet rescue. This was mentioned by Salty a while back as well. However, it has yet to happen a single time since campaigns have started. However, it was reconfirmed that they are planning on adding some kind of way, shape, or form to be able to obtain the old campaign pets, which at this current moment in time, not a single one has been available free to play yet. However, they will be at some point eventually. Who knows when, but at some point it'll happen. But anyways, better arena rewards under consideration. Perhaps considering adding an epic vault key. Wait, what? For 3 full reward laps? Wait, what? When did they mention that? I don't recall them mentioning that. I'm pretty sure they were just joking if they did mention that. Because that is ridiculously good loot. If you can do... Oh, wait. For 3 full laps. Do they mean during the arena event? Oh, never mind. That's very bad loot. That just went from being very good to very bad. If they mean 3 full laps, as in get to the orb, then get to the orb, then get to the orb, we are talking... Like, you might as well just ignore it and wait for a gnome event. Yeah, that's still bad loot. Never mind. Because we're talking like 20 to 30 hours. Probably closer to 30 or 40, actually. But yeah, that's not worth it. If you spent half that time in a vault event, you would likely get an epic vault key. Plus a billion other loots that are useful. More useful than anything you would get in arena. So even if they did this, no one would go for it. It's just too time consuming. Even if you did arena for about 12 hours a day, every day of the weekend-long arena event, you still might not hit this. Even if they added it. However, for people that really, really wanted an epic vault key, it could maybe be okay. However, that does not seem that worth it unless they had some kind of special loot every lap you do. Like maybe the first time you get a extra vault key, the second time you get like a, I don't know, something useful. And then the third time you get an epic vault key, I'm not sure. But if they did it every lap, like an extra reward, it could maybe be worth it. But we're talking a really long amount of time with how it's currently scaled. Yeah, I'm really curious to see how the additional gnomes work out, especially the new gnome events and everything. It'd be interesting to see. I hope it doesn't get in the way of the standard vault event, though, and indirectly nerf it in a sense. Is Lycanthropy going to be overpowered? Devs will watch the effect and see how it is in 5.5. Lycanthropy will definitely not be overpowered. Lycanthropy and Vow Ravens, known issue, is not resolved because of the interaction of Deathmark and Transform. Don't use Essence of Evil on Vow Ravens. Wait! Is that a thing? Interesting. So if you currently... I didn't actually know this was a thing. But if you use Lycanthropy on a Vow Raven and it transforms, you no longer get those 2 sigils like you would when it dies to Deathmark or dies to Transform or dies to something else. Similarly, it doesn't seem to work with Lycanthropy. Is there anything that works correctly about Lycanthropy? Is there a single thing about it that actually functions? Lowering cost for epic tasks? No. Oh, someone asked that too? Okay, I completely missed that as well. But, yeah, that makes sense that they wouldn't lower it. It's kind of fine right now. Bonus traits on troops during events. Support is there. Wait. Words. English. Support is there. Oh, never mind. I'm reading it correctly. Support is there. Was used for first world event. Oh, yeah. We did actually see it for the first world event where they had extra perks on their thingy. They basically did it as affixes. Or not affixes, but as suffixes. So there's actually 2 modifiers that every single troop it can currently be programmed into the game. However, they don't really use it for anything other than the Underworld. It was used for the very first world event, but they never brought it back. And I was wondering why they didn't end up bringing it back. But basically, they're suffixes and affixes. Affixes affect the cast, and suffixes affect their traits. And it basically allows them to set infinite traits and infinite affixes onto troops. This hasn't really been used for any real aspect of the game. However, I really hope that it does, because it would definitely allow for the upscaling of content for some kind of new game mode. And they never really implemented it. It was originally going to be a World Lore event, but due to confusion and everything, they kind of just completely wiped it from the World Lore events and never did it again beyond the very first one. And the Underworld does use it, however, it does it very minimally, where, you know, it just gives like a little bit of like maybe like Submerge on cast, or like a Death Mark on Skull, or stuff like that. But really like minimal stuff that doesn't normally stack up to be much by the end of the dungeon. So we are definitely going to be seeing it used to some capacity in the future. So that'll be interesting to see how it ends up panning out. But anyways, they also did some Puzzle Quest 3 questions for any of you interested in that. I believe I asked like more than half of them, but they only took a few of them. But will mini games be added? I think IsabelArcher asked this one. Likely in the future, not at launch. Yeah, they definitely need mini games in the game. That's like such a big part of the Puzzle Quest series. One that they particularly mentioned was which it would be the best type of minigame. Those little boards where you have to take a bunch of moves and get every single gem off the board. I'm pretty sure you can make an algorithm that creates a new one every single week. That would also be a fun one to show for a video, because we could literally just make a cheat video of how to do it correctly. So that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, there's got to be that among maybe some other mini games. So that definitely seems like the first mini game they'll do, is where you have to clear the entire board in X amount of moves, or, you know, when you have like a kind of like puzzle thingy where you have to get every single gem off the board. I forgot what they're called. They have a special name. Anyways, Puzzle Quest 3 dedicated streams. Yes, once the game fully launches. Also, it seems like they might be launching in the next couple months, so no confirmation on that. Changing color modifiers on gear to better present information. Wait, what? She mentioned this weirdly. Changing color modifications on gear to better present information. Changing unlikely. Changing elemental. Yeah, okay. This is worded a bit weirdly. But they will allow you to change the colors of gear, which will be very useful for PvP with how it's currently set up, because you need specific colored gear. Who knows what kind of resources or how much that will end up costing, though, since it's, of course, a free-to-play game. So, yeah, they'll allow us to change the colors. However, they mentioned nothing about the modifiers. There's 3 modifiers that are on every single one of the weapons, or every single one of the gears. And they have yet to mention any kind of way that we'll really have a way of fixing it. And will we be able to reset the Citadel? Yes. But not at launch? No, they said it would probably come in before launch. I'm pretty sure he said he was going to try getting in before launch. I don't think it specifically said not before launch. The other one was not before launch, all of these. But I believe they were trying to get this one in before launch, because that's just a really kind of standard feature that was in both Puzzle Quest 1 and 2 that is missing for Puzzle Quest 3. And even Suri mentions how annoying that is. Because you constantly have to, not like constantly change your build, but it kind of restricts you for a very long time due to how leveling takes in that game, because of how Citadel levels go. Like, it just needs to be a feature. It takes like literally thousands of hours to try to like change your build, whereas if they added a reset function, you could do it within like minutes, not even. Let's see. But anyways, that's everything. That'd be everything. So that's the full rundown. If anyone else has any other questions, let me know. I think that was mostly everything. I mentioned a few other inputs that weren't mentioned there, but it seems about everything they mentioned for the most part. So all things considered, what did they say we could get for sure in the 5.5 patch? The only really big feature seems to be power gems. The implementation and capability of power gems is basically the main thing that's coming next patch, aside from a few small fixes here and there. But it does seem to mostly be a power gem patch, which does seem like it's actually going to be a little bit towards a smaller patch. Like, power gems are still a interesting mechanic. However, there's not much you could do with them immediately, and it's not something that you can, like, infinitely grind. It's something that will make the game a little bit more interesting over time. However, it doesn't really do much immediately. However, that gnome event thing might actually end up doing quite a bit initially, because if they have an event for it, like, the weekend after the patch, that'll be pretty interesting to see how that pans out. I'm still not quite understanding what they mean with the whole gnome event thing, because if it's replacing the currently existing gnome event, that's slightly concerning. But if it's just like another gnome event that runs at a different time than the normal vault event, then that's not as bad. Because currently the normal vault event as it is right now is by far the best event in the entire game. It's not even remotely close. It is absurdly good. And the concern is it might get slightly nerfed with the changes that they might do. We'll find out. I sure hope not, though. Because that's a great way for people to catch up. Because if they have a lot of available time on that weekend, you could farm for like 30 plus hours and get absurdly good loot. Which can really help catch up if you do that a couple times from a newer account. Oh yeah, and Uber Doom Skulls, where it basically does a 5x5 explosion with a plus 10 damage. But how it was mentioned, I thought it was a power gem, but it's basically just like a standard new gem. It'll be very rare to occur onto a board, though. Also, it's going to be very broken in Arena. But yeah, it's basically Doom Skull, but a whole extra square further in explosion. And double the damage, 10 instead of 5. Overall, it is likely not to come into play that often. But whenever you do see it, it's going to get a lot of value. Also, I'm curious how it interacts with Destroy. I'm pretty sure we kind of already know based on how a Doom Skull interacts with Mass Destroy. Though I'm actually not sure what the current interaction is because I haven't tested it for a while. But when you explode it, of course, exploded gems only count for 50% mana, whereas destroyed gems count for 100% mana. If I'm not mistaken, the Destroy does take precedence over the Explode, so it shouldn't get in the way of lowering down your mana. That is, of course, a concern. Especially for whatever reason it interacts differently than how a Doom Skull does. Which is very unlikely. I'm pretty sure it functions literally like a Doom Skull, but 5 higher damage and a little bit larger in range of a 5x5 instead of a 3x3. I really hate trying to think out how a 5x5 touches the board, though. It's a lot harder to try to figure out what you can do with it. Or at least I feel so compared to a 3x3. How am I feeling today since I got the shot? Kind of meh. I've been resting pretty much all day. Like right before the stream, I just took like a 4 or 5 hour nap or so. But yeah, it's still been feeling kind of meh. Like I'm not getting any flu-like symptoms or anything like that, but my arm has been very weird, and I've just been feeling ultra fatigued. But it is starting to feel better, so hopefully by tomorrow. I wanted to rest up a bunch of days, so hopefully for tomorrow, by our time we do our faction stream, it'll be a bit better. I can still easily stream, even if it's not, though. I just can't really move my arm too much. It's just the main concern, that, and I feel ultra tired. Anyways, where were we? We cleared out that. Let's go and clear out... So let's see, we did that. Let's go do class event, then. So, of course, as I mentioned earlier this stream, we do have the class event for Sword's Edge. Also, I mentioned this team as a joke. However, I am very legitimately using it since we have it. So this Monday, as you guys may recall, I opened a bunch of event keys to get the new troop. And in doing so, we actually got a 3rd champion of Anu from our drop. Not 3 of them, but, you know, we got another champion of Anu as a drop, which makes it to total of a 3. So yeah, now we can do Dawnbringer triple champion of Anu. Very rarely would this actually be viable. However, there is an instance where it is, and that is right now. So might as well use it. We have it, no reason not to use it. Obviously, this is not a team you'd really bother using. But if you happen to have it. Though, of course, we mentioned the other team on Monday, which was, I believe, some kind of Knight Coronet build. I can go show it real quick. So I actually did not just re-show it right now. Let's see, we'll take that over. Look at that damage. I'm gonna go show it real quick. And of course, you can just build any kind of Dawnbringer team as well. This is the one I mentioned on Monday. Dancing Daggers, double Vanguard into Lance Knight. You can also just replace that with Dawnbringer if you want, though it's kind of hard to feed Vanguard if you do so. But yeah, you just run something like that, or run some kind of standard Dawnbringer build, and you'll pretty much be good to go. But anyways, we'll be running a very hefty Dawnbringer. Increase the fluids. Yeah, I've been drinking a lot. I've gone through like 3 or 4 waters today. Also, I haven't been hungry at all. I haven't ate a single thing all day. I'm not sure why, but it has kind of stopped my appetite for a little while. But yeah, it's almost 9 p.m. and I've ate literally nothing all day. I've gone through almost 4 water bottles by this point. Let's see. I'll take that down. I know I gotta eat. I'm just not hungry yet. I'll probably eat after the stream. I just didn't have an appetite when I woke up. Then I didn't have an appetite after I took a nap. and then we just stream. So that's pretty much my whole day. I was up for a little while, took a nap. Wasn't hungry when I woke up then. Wasn't hungry when I woke up after that. And then we streamed. Let's see, we'll take that over. I'm not sure if I have any soups left in the house. I haven't gone food shopping for a while. I need to soon. I probably should have just picked some stuff up while I was at the Walgreens the other day. Though their stuff is so overpriced compared to just going to like a Walmart or something. Have a sandwich? Ha! That's funny. No, I don't have any lunch meat or anything. Is Green Seer Giant Spider and 2x Tyree good for treasure map farming? Yes, it is still technically the meta for treasure map farming. However, treasure map farming isn't really that worth doing in the current state of the game. The main reason for this is whenever there's a gnome event, you get so much glory per hour that it is actually more maps per hour to just farm during a Vault event weekend than it is to try to farm maps. So it hasn't been viable for quite some time to actually farm maps. If you really wanted to, if you just had no other way of really getting them. Yes, you can still do the Green Seer Giant Spider Double Tyree. That is still the best way, to my knowledge, of getting them. However, you get so much glory during Vault events that it is actually effectively more maps per hour to use the glory off of Vault events than it is to farm maps directly. Which might seem a little bit weird, but it is the way it is. Glory gnomes just give that much glory. Yeah, Scouting Key Weapon, even though it was nerfed, does passively give you treasure hunts as well. So if you're doing it for a bunch of PvP and other stuff, you do passively get a treasure map 10% of every cast. Which is normally a treasure map every 3 battles or so, I would say. 3 to 4 around there. Well, technically, I guess it actually averages to about 5. Because if you can win a battle in 2 casts, that's 10 rolls then. At 10% chance. So never mind, I guess it takes about 5 on average, though it could be slightly less. It's not as good for getting a lot of treasure maps, but it would get treasure maps passively. Which quite a few people have gotten in the past. It's still viable to gold farm that way as well. The most viable gold farming team still uses Scouting Key, even though Scouting Key got nerfed. Which is double Cedric with Scouting Key and Egg Thief and Explore 12. I'm pretty sure that's still the quickest gold rate in the game. It's quite a bit lower or slower since the Scouting Key nerf, but it's still the most viable method. But if anyone else has any questions, anything you want me to go over, do let me know. As soon as we finish out the class event, we'll probably hand out a code. Actually, I'll hand out a code right now. Might end it soon after we finish out the class event. Save event keys for next week, or use them now. Thoughts? Next week is Pride Lands. Pride Land doesn't have anything too good in event key drop table. It's going to have Rope Dart, but as far as the event key drop table, nothing is too special next week. However, nothing is really too special this week. Like, we did get a new legend. However, if you're someone missing most of the stuff in the game, there's not really anything too good in Sword's Edge. I guess Queen Isabel isn't horrible. Oh, actually, Sir Quentin Hadley. I lied. Sir Quentin Hadley. If you don't have Sir Quentin Hadley yet, it's a great idea to use event keys this week. But aside from that, it's nothing's too good in drop table. Both the 2 mythics are pretty underwhelming. Even though we're using him right now. He's generally not used for much. I'm actually surprised we don't have enough to kill. With all that extra damage. And it still doesn't kill. So where's all that mana? We could have killed by now if we just waited on the initial cast. There we go. Only hitting for almost 100. Alright, a weapon. Yeah, definitely 100% make sure to get Rope Dart next week. If anyone doesn't have 400 yellow or 400 blue jewels, I highly advise trying to find pet gnomes right now, or, you know, with your guild and stuff, doing PvP and such like that. to try to get it. Because you 100% want to make sure you have 400 yellow and 400 blue for next week. I think it's also a couple hundred diamonds. But 400 yellow, 400 blue. 100% make sure you have it next week. Because Rope Dart is an insanely good weapon. And has not been available for a year and a half now. It has gone an exceedingly long time without an event. One of the longest ever for any kingdom. And the weapon's one of the best in the entire game. Definitely top 10, definitely top 5. Arguably the absolute best as far as win rate is concerned. So you don't see me using it as often because there's normally situations where other stuff works a bit quicker. But it's really good at not losing. It's mostly used for Guild Wars, both offensively and defensively. There are a couple other instances where it can be useful, like in Divine Shpal Quillen team offensively in PvP and stuff like that. Also makes for a good Guild War defend team. Oh yeah, 100% make sure to get Rope Dart next week regardless. I don't think there's any other really good weapon next week. And even if there is, none of them are better than Rope Dart. I'm pretty sure they're going to nerf Rope Dart in about a month. However, I'm pretty sure it's going to get like a life and death nerf, where all they do is just raise its mana cost. Currently it's 14 mana cost. It's probably going to be raised to anywhere from 16 to 18 in the next balance patch. They haven't rebalanced it for so long because almost no one really has it. Well, not almost no one, but you know, it hasn't been available for so long. But once they have data, once like almost every single person in the entire game has Rope Dart, I'm pretty sure they're going to adjust it just because of the sheer number of Rope Darts that will exist. Though as long as it still has extra turn, armor tier, and entangle, it could be 20 mana cost and still be viable. Obviously the lower the better. Realistically they're going to nerf it to 16, 17, or 18 from its current 14, but even then it's still viable. So still worth getting regardless. Why jinx it? They're almost guaranteed going to do it. It's a matter of when than if. Don't you drain my hero class? I need a win. There we go. Watch him have another drain. Luckily it's not. That would be very bad. Very bad indeed. Oh, are we only at one more battle? I meant to go hand out a code before we finish. I guess we'll do it right as we finish the thing. Then we'll go hand out a code. And then we'll go do Chester too. And probably call it a wrap for the night. And then we'll probably grab a little bite to eat. I'm still not hungry though. I don't even feel lightheaded yet from not eating. We know I haven't all day. A little mini fasting. Let's see. Why is it so hard to farm trait stones? They actually made it quite a bit easier to farm trait stones, but it still takes a little bit of time. There's so many ways that you get trait stones, but it can seem a little bit daunting initially, just because of the sheer number that you need. But it's way easier than it used to be, that's for sure. It used to be at least like 5 times harder than it is now. But yes, if you want to farm trait stones, spamming Explore is probably your best way. Not only will you get tokens while doing it, but you also get a bunch of trait stones. And of course, you do get a troop every single week that you can buy up trait stones off of. For example, this week you can buy up pretty much all the green and all the brown-green arcanes you'll ever need. So you can end up doing it that way. Plus the keys themselves, of course, give you a small amount. Please don't give the devs idea, I know, right? Man, anyways, I'm going to go get you guys the redeem code. And then we'll go and maybe run a chest or two. And then probably call it a night. And then tomorrow afternoon, we got a brand new faction. It's going to be a lot of fun. Pretty hyped for it. For once, it actually comes in with good troops. The faction itself is kind of average, but the troops are actually pretty solid. Nothing's like meta for soul farming. However, we're going to get a lot of new options that can passively farm souls, which is going to be pretty interesting, as some of them might become really useful into the future as we get more soul farming troops. But yeah, you'll be able to have more ways to farm souls, which will be fun, instead of having to do all the pretty standard teams. And a lot of ways they can passively get souls, like if you do, what's it called? If you end up doing like a PvP team for it or something similar. But anyways, there's the redeem code used on gemswar.com for the game code section. Your invite code can be found in your settings menu. Whatever your game says right over here is what you put in for your invite code. Redeem code is right over there in chat. It's copy paste random numbers and letters starting with MO8 and give same word as always. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. So are we getting any new kingdoms in 5.5? No. We will be probably later this year. Still no official dates. However, next patch will specifically not have any kingdoms coming in. We're mostly just getting the power gem mechanic is like the main thing that's coming out, as well as a few other tweaks here and there, bug fixes, stuff like that. But no, next patch is mostly just going to be the power gems and setting up for a couple future updates. 5.6 will probably be the biggest next upcoming update that we know info on, and that'll be a pretty big gnome-related updates as far as what it'll end up bringing, and will likely bring a pretty useful farming location overall. No Epic Volkey in the code. I know, right? I wish. It's just a normal code. I wish I could hand out an Epic Volkey code. They've never handed out a code bigger than that code last night. Thank you, Jonas. Or Joshua, I mean. Greatly appreciated. No clue how I mispronounced that hard. Oh, wait, wrong team. But greatly appreciated. Let's see. I'm looking for my Explore 12 team. That is not my Explore 12 team. There it is. But yeah, anyone have any other questions? Let me know. We'll probably wrap up after 2 chests, since we're kind of already on top of a chest right now. Oh yes, and as Alexandria mentioned, definitely feel free to leave a like on the stream. Helps out a lot. Just greatly appreciated. And of course, for any of you that don't catch streams that often, we do stream every single night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also stream normally Friday mornings, Gems of War as well. Tomorrow will specifically be at noon Eastern Standard Time, which is in 15 hours from now. Whatever your time zone is with that. 15 hours from now. And it'll be quite a fun stream. It's normally our most populated stream as well. Whenever a new faction comes out, we read through the dialogue. We go over all the new troops. We go in the delve, mess with all that, and we have a lot of fun. Because those are generally the biggest pieces of content we really get that are not associated to a patch. Whenever a new kingdom or a new faction is added to the game. Of course, we haven't had a new kingdom for years, though we will be getting them at some point soon. But of course, new factions are the closest equivalents. The storyline's quite a bit shorter for them, though, compared to new kingdoms. New kingdoms are like 2-3 times longer in that regard. Oh yeah, that was one question that was not mentioned on the thing there. Yeah, there was a couple things missing. I mentioned a couple of them, but that was one of them that I did forget to mention when we were going over all the stuff that they did in last night's stream. One thing that was brought up as well was if we could eventually have the tasks capable of being done separately, as in being able to do them out of order. However, I believe the response was no in that regard, and that you'll still have to just do it one at a time in the current order system that they have. But currently, there's no way to do them out of order. Like, you know, when you have your 10 tasks, there's no way to do task number 7 in bronze before you go do, like, number 6 or, you know, 5 or something like that. You have to do them specifically in order. And it's unlikely we will be getting any kind of feature that will allow us to do them out of order. But, yeah, it's still just going to be do them one at a time in order. Which isn't too bad, but it does make it a little bit slower. And does make it so things like this week when we had like both a dungeon one and a faction one, or dungeon one and a adventure board one, it made it kind of clunky because we had to wait all the way till Wednesday. However, it would have been completable by Tuesday if we were able to do multiple simultaneously. Isabel. That's funny. I know how to eat. I just haven't been hungry. I've gone days without eating before. I've never, like, specifically tried fasting, but I have legitimately gone entire days without eating. Normally no longer than 2 days, though. There's just some times when I'm just not hungry. Moms do make good food. That is very true. Did anyone mention metal set for teams? No, I don't think anything was really mentioning metal related other than the question I asked on if we could get a different way to farm Explore 12, and they said no. Though they did say they will likely add more ways to passively get them. However, that doesn't fix the issue that we just have to go to Explore 12 over and 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 over again in order to farm them. I was kind of hoping they would add some other new method. But they said no to new method, but they did say yes to we will passively get more through something. Either through events, new content, or something. Yeah, normally whenever I don't eat, it's never for more than a day. It's normally on days I just feel really meh. Oh, I will eat some soon. Gotta have something to power that immune system. But yeah, hopefully in a few days I'll feel back to normal from this shot. I kind of see why some people didn't end up getting the second shots. Like, because they get, like, some kind of reaction from the first shot, and then it's like, oh, I'm not getting the second one. That seems almost worse than not getting a shot at all. To only get, like, a partial shot. Let's see. It's just a mild inconvenience, if nothing else. Luckily it's on my left arm. That would be so annoying if it was on my right arm. Since I'm right-handed. Cookie. That's funny. Oh, actually, that's pretty funny that you mentioned the socks thing. I have a funny story about that with my grandma. So while I was in college, I was, of course, housing with my grandma because doing it in any other way would be way too expensive. Where my dad was also living at the time. Actually, still is. But anyways, one of my pair of socks were tearing, and I was just going to go buy a new pair. And while I was at college one day, she was, like, looking at the little sock thingy, and one of them still had, like, the label thingy. And she was, like, calling up their support, and apparently they have, like, a lifetime warranty on it for whatever reason, that one specific pair of socks, or, you know, like that specific brand. So she ended up calling them, complaining to them, and got new socks shipped to the house, which was pretty funny. So instead of having to buy a new pair, she she called into the company, complained to them, and was able to get the new pair of socks. That was really hilarious. Let's see. Grab explosion. What do we take here? Take a purple. Did you like your question last night? Which question did you ask? I wasn't paying too much attention to who was asking what. Where you said they should send their biggest fan to Australia for a visit. I actually didn't catch that question. Was I, like, dozing off last night? Maybe I've been. I've been feeling kind of off since the thing. I'll be back to normal soon. Yeah, that's like the third question I didn't realize was actually asked last night. It apparently was. Anyways, any other questions, anyone? Otherwise, we'll call it a wrap for now. As soon as we get this chest. Yeah, my grandma's, like, ridiculously frugal. It's where I probably picked up on it. Because I am ultra ridiculously frugal as well. So not that frugal, I'd rather just get another pair of socks at that point. They're cheap enough that it doesn't really matter. But she is, like, ridiculously frugal. To a degree where it's almost a skill set. Let's see, we'll take that, take that. Get her flame-a-fa. Where can I get these warranty socks from? I'm not sure what it was. It was just some socks I ended up getting one day. And apparently they had some kind of support number, and she called that support number. And she was able to get socks. For free. I'm not sure if it was because she was complaining or what. But, yeah, they basically just sent a bunch of new socks to our location. Ben & Jerry's. Oh, I can never have Ben & Jerry's. Their stuff may contain nuts because they make some that do have it in it, so I can't have any of them. I've never had Ben & Jerry's ever because they all may contain. Oh, we didn't get anything good. Hey, where's our Anu? We're supposed to get a guarantee Anu every last chest. That's not fair. I feel like 60% of the time, if not more, we end up getting it. But anyways, guys, I'm going to be calling it a wrap for now. I hope you all have a wonderful week. As I mentioned, tomorrow, noon Eastern Standard Time, which is 15 hours from now, we will be doing the new faction, which will be pretty fun. We'll be handing out redeem code. We'll have the new faction, read through the entirety of it, go over the new troops. We'll probably have a video on Saturday specifically going over them as well, because there's some soul farming teams that can be used for them. Aside from that, yeah, we'll be just clearing through there. Friday night we'll go and use the last of our sigils, and then Saturday night we'll do pure faction as we normally break it down. That is the game plan. So we'll be up a couple hours doing that around noon, and have a bunch of fun with it. But anyways, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. We'll catch you guys soon, and I'll see you guys around. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching. Greatly appreciate it.